Hello, everybody. Today, well, as you can see, there's probably a bit of a mess behind me and kind of around me. But yeah, I've just been busy this week with watching TV shows, so I haven't really had much time to just sit down and clean or even talk about the stuff I want to talk about. But yeah, I guess this was last Friday. Now, oh my God, it seems like the this week has just kind of been flying by. Being super pumped up for Saturday night's fights, the UFC fights with Max Holloway and all that. But yeah, by the time this review comes out, that card will be passed, and potentially even the other one with Nunez. I don't even know by that point. Um, yeah, because I think I have uploads right up till July 11th at this point of the recording of this video. But today we are going to be talking about the movie Lightyear, which I know was actually banned in a few countries due to, I don't know, some of the content that was in the movie, which I don't really understand. But I mean, I guess that sucks for people who are in those countries who wanted to go see the movie, or maybe saw the old Toy Story movies and were hoping for another kind of film in that series. Although this is supposed to be like a prequel to those movies and talking about just Buzz Lightyear's story leading up to the Toy Story movies. So yeah, it was kind of an interesting concept to go almost backwards, I guess, and just have like an origin story for one character. But I suppose it was kind of important because there was so much untold in the Toy Story movies about Buzz's story that it just sort of makes sense that this movie was going to be made eventually at some point. I think we were all kind of hoping for a Buzz Lightyear movie as kids, at least my generation as kids, way earlier on than, oh my God, 2022 that we're in now. So yeah, it's just crazy that it's taken this long. And because when did Toy Story 4 come out? It wasn't that long ago. Like 2019 or something, 2018 maybe was Toy Story 4. I'm gonna have to look that up now. Because yeah, I remember going to see that in theaters too, and yeah, that was a pretty good movie as well. So let's just look up Toy Story 4 here while we're talking about it. Yeah, 2019. So yeah, um, yeah, kind of hard to believe that Toy Story, the very first one, came out in 1995 when I was only 2 years old, and then the second one came out in 1999. Uh, so I would have been, I guess, seven. No, six, because I was, yeah, six, because I was born in 93. And then Toy Story 3 didn't come out until 2010. So that's a pretty big, it's 11 years between movies, and then another 9 years before Toy Story 4 came out. So that's pretty crazy to kind of see. I guess it's just because maybe Disney and Pixar are so busy with certain like projects over the years that it kind of seems to span out. Like even with Pirates of the Caribbean, their movies were so like far between after, yeah, really after the first and second one. They kind of just spanned it out over so many years, and it took so long to finish that series. And I wish Disney was quicker with that kind of thing because they seem to be so focused on the Marvel universe now that they kind of throw other projects to the wayside, I feel. And this one was probably a film that could have been done earlier, but I suppose maybe would have had a remake by this point, and this is probably what we would have gotten or close to it anyway. So I guess it's kind of interesting to see if there will be a remake of this film, like who knows, 20, maybe 15, 20 years from now. So anyway, I do have to say that the animation was absolutely fantastic, and I did like the more like personal side of the story, really kind of getting into Buzz's life and what he is as a space ranger, and his job, and um, they get marooned on this other planet, and then he has to figure out how to get them off of the planet by hitting light speed. So I believe that would be kind of the why they would call it Lightyear. And each time he gets closer to the light speed himself, he doesn't age as quickly, but everybody else on the planet ages 4 years the first time, and then it just kind of keeps progressively getting further and further ahead. And his Space Ranger partner, or the person that he was partnered up with on all of his expeditions, was yeah, was Alicia Hawthorne. And as she gets older, it kind of gets a little bit sadder because he's not able to. It seems like Space Rangers, yeah, he's not able to see her kind of life, I guess, because he doesn't get to really spend that much time with her because he's so focused on the mission. Because that was the Space Ranger code, is to always finish the mission, no matter what the consequences. And unfortunately, uh, all him and all him and Alicia wanted was to just be just be Space Rangers again. And unfortunately, she ends up passing away due to the fact that she gets old and he stays basically the same age throughout the entire film, I would say. And then at one point, when he finally does hit light speed, I think it was like 30 something years, 20 or 20 something years or 30 something years, he ends up being gone. And by the time he comes back, Alicia's grandchild Izzy is completely grown up. So that was pretty crazy. And it looks like this Zurg character has taken over the planet at this point. And yeah, things are not on the up and up for sure after he finally does hit Lightspeed. Other than the fact that his like cat companion, Socks, was able to actually discover the proper formula to hit Lightspeed. Although they don't really have, I guess they don't have the formula for it now because when he was trying to hide to hit Lightspeed originally, he ended up destroying the computer that Socks was using in order to actually um, create the formula to hit Lightspeed. So they only have this one um, container of formula, and that's what Zurg is after. And the biggest plot twist in this movie, honestly, was the fact that Zurg was just Buzz Lightyear years into the future with Socks, and he had just, I guess, kind of created a better suit in a sense. But he had found a way to use the formula to travel through time, and he said if they can travel um, into the future, they could obviously travel back in time and save Alicia, and then they would already know, I guess they would already know the formula themselves, right? If they were traveling back into time, so they would be able to tell um, Alicia what has happened and the formula, and they would have been able to get off the planet. But by this time, the current Buzz uh, already doesn't feel right about doing that anymore because he knows that Alicia has lived out her life, and now Izzy is older, and she's lived out her life, and he just wants everybody to, I guess, kind of have a normal life and not go back in time because so much has happened now that erasing that wouldn't even feel right to Buzz himself anyway. So he ends up, I guess his own worst enemy was himself because that's who he ends up fighting in the movie, was just a much older version of him who had been from the future and had used the formula to travel back in time as far as he could, and that was where he made it to, was Izzy. So I guess if they were able to jump back in time again, they would probably be able to make it to Alicia, was I think the older Buzz's idea, or Zurg's idea, was that they would be able to make it back that far at least, if not further. Who knows? I suppose time travel would probably be a tricky thing when you were only able to make one jump. You don't know where you're going to end up, and yeah, I'm assuming the current like real time Buzz that we'd been following through the entire movie probably knew the risks and didn't want to take them in case he ended up screwing up more than what he already had, right? But yeah, I would say this was a much more personal movie, and the animation was absolutely fantastic. The scenes where he's jumping into Lightspeed are pretty cool, especially the one where he's actually able to do it, and the scene where Izzy's like leaning out of the spaceship because she doesn't like space. And doing the D-box for this movie actually was more incredible than I thought it was going to be, because obviously there was a lot of flight stuff. I wasn't really sure what to expect um, as far as flight stuff in this movie, but yeah, there was quite a bit of it, especially the whole going in and out of Lightspeed type stuff, and yeah, so it was a really awesome experience to actually watch this movie in D-Box for sure. And in 3D, the 3D animation was really cool, going in and out of light speed and all that other stuff. So yeah, really awesome experience. Hopefully, anybody who did want to see it in theaters got to see it in theaters, and uh, if you get to do the D-Box experience for this movie, I would say you were probably treated pretty well as far as movies go. Yeah, because for certain movies, I will do D-Box now that I've kind of been doing a little bit more. But yeah, obviously some movies aren't really worth it. But yeah, I've done it so far for Top Gun. Top Gun was probably the best movie I've seen in a D-Box seat, besides Dune. I guess what was that? Was that last year, 2021? I guess yeah, the theaters were open for a little bit there. And now I've done Jurassic World twice in D-Box because that was really worth it. And now I've done Lightyear. I kind of got this group together now. We all go see movies together. So yeah, it's kind of cool to do that with a group of people rather than just. I know some movies I go by myself, but just because I'm a reviewer and I really like to kind of take everything in. But yeah, I thought I was going to be talking about this for a much longer time, but there is a couple more things that I do want to touch on, though, especially the end credit scenes. And oh yeah, I guess the rest of the team that he had with him, um, Mo Morrison and Darby Steele. When he comes back, he thinks that it's going to be like this incredible team that he has surrounding him, and they're all kind of not even recruits yet. uh, and I think that was the issue. I think that was one of the issues Buzz definitely had was with the recruits or the new guys as he called them because he didn't really want to refer to them as was it recruits? I feel like it was a different word that he reused, but that was basically what the rookie, right, the rookie. Um yeah, the rookie guy. So they weren't even rookies yet when he came back and met Izzy and the other two people that were with him, but he ends up picking them at the end of the film to be his team. Oh my god, I just hiccuped there really bad and that hurt. But I was going to talk about the end credit scenes, and then I will obviously give my rating. So there are three end credit scenes. So there is one where after Alicia dies, Alicia Hawthorne is her name, by the way, and Izzy Hawthorne, Alicia Hawthorne and Izzy Hawthorne. So after Alicia dies, um, Commander Burnside takes over, and um, he basically scraps the entire Lightspeed project and decides that they are just going to build a giant laser shield around the entire new colony, I guess, that they basically made on this planet because he thinks they're just gonna. He thinks everybody's pretty much happy with where they are now. They've kind of built around living there, I guess, and they've kind of just colonized a new planet at this point. That's kind of what it seems like, and Buzz is still kind of focused on this mission, and he hopes that he can get anybody off of the planet that wants to get off of it, obviously back to where they were before, right? Back to their home planet and not stranded here, because I would imagine some of them are probably separated from their friends and family back on the other planet, and they're all aging still, and the rest of them, and Buzz is just staying basically the same age because of how much faster he's traveling all the time than they are. So there is a little scene with the laser shield, and then the robot that was trying to map out a course for them as to where to go to do the what was that, Operation Surprise or Operation Sneak Attack? Was that something like that? Operation. I'm pretty sure it was Operation Surprise. That's what I'm feeling anyway. Forgive me if I'm mistaken on that part, but yeah. I know they were trying to take down the Zerg ship. I know that much, and that's what they thought was going to, I guess, stop everything from being bad on the planet, obviously, again. But then, yeah, obviously we know that Buzz was just facing Buzz, and a whole bunch of other stuff happened. Yeah, it was just kind of crazy. Um, there were definitely some laughs in this movie, especially with socks, but I don't want to give all those away just because I feel like everybody should have a genuine laugh in the theater, right? Or even when you're watching the movie when it comes out on digital, which probably won't be too much longer from now because, yeah, I guess it's been out for a couple weeks now. And yeah, so the first end credit scene was with the laser shield with uh, with Commander Burnside after he's taken over for Alicia after she passes away. And then the second credit scene is, yeah, the robot like mapping out the course, and he turns around and they're already all gone. Like the rest of the movie's already happened, buddy. You can just go back home or try to find them and group up with the team again, right? And then there is an end credit scene after the Pixar um, after the lamp jumps on the Pixar logo, and it is just Zurg floating in space, and he comes back to life. So I am looking forward to the sequel, because I would imagine there's going to be one. They left that very open-ended with the end credit scenes, and I'm kind of interested to see, yeah, like how much more of an origin story they can really tell on Buzz. I guess now that Buzz and Izzy are kind of a team, and obviously he has the rest of the team with him too. I would imagine they're probably the next movie would be them getting off the planet, and maybe Zurg trying to stop them from getting off the planet. That's what I'm guessing, because he wasn't really trying to stop them from getting off the planet this time. He was just trying to get the formula from Buzz to be able to travel back in time. So I would imagine the second one is going to be them fighting for maybe control of the planet, or yeah, control of the planet, or the fact that he still wants to use the formula to go back in time, and Buzz wants to use it to get off the planet. It's kind of interesting to see where a potential second movie could go. There's lots of avenues and routes that they could take. And for this movie, I did give it a 6 out of 10. I don't know. It's just, yeah. I just rate it what I feel in my heart of hearts, and I kind of feel like maybe it was because they left it so open ended that I was just kind of like, oh, that's disappointing because I think this was originally designed to be like a one-off movie, and now it kind of leaves potential for a sequel, maybe even a trilogy movie, before we kind of even get into the story of um, Toy Story. And it is kind of funny that this was the prequel movie. So it said in 1995, Andy bought a toy um, based on his favorite movie, and this is that movie. That was the opening little credit scene at the beginning. So that was kind of funny. But that is the only laugh I'm going to tell you about in this movie. But there were many more than that. And yeah, I would say this this movie was definitely geared more towards adults, and I would say they did that much more on purpose, even though it had a PG rating, I think, or a G rating. I can't remember. It probably could have honestly had a PG-13 rating, to be completely honest with you. Um, but yeah, I guess they geared it more towards an adult audience based on the fact that anybody like me who saw the original Toy Story movies would have been a kid when those came out, and now we're all in our 20s or potentially even our 30s at this point, right? I would say most of us who watched the movies as kids are probably in our 20s, and yeah, a lot of other kids probably wouldn't even know what Toy Story was, especially if they were born within the last like few years, right? Like, kind of the same thing with the Addams Family and all the other, um, yeah, because I was even still young when the first Despicable Me came out. Like, I think I might have been, maybe I was in high school when the first Despicable Me came out. Anyway, I'm just trying to say we were a lot younger when the first movies came out, and now we're all adults. So I feel like that's kind of the audience they geared towards, was the ones that watched the original Toy Story movies as kids. So I'm referring more to 1 and 2 than 3 and 4, because obviously 3 and 4 came out much later. Uh, yeah, so a lot of people had probably the chance to watch the first two for sure. But anyway, that's it for this review, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.